Hello, and welcome back to another segment of Mental Health Minis. Today, we're going to continue our series about war, and the subject of the week is creativity in war. How have people leaned on creativity to make sense of the world, to make sense of emotions, feelings, thoughts that perhaps they couldn't put into words? How were they able to communicate in a time where things were crumbling? I am, of course, Iranian. I was born in Tehran, Iran, and you know what's happening. You know about the war in Iran, I'm sure, because it's been everywhere. But also, you might not know that I also grew up in the States, very formative years of my life. I also have family in the States, and I've traveled to America more than any other country. So, essentially, my heart hurts deeply for both parties. So, nonetheless, I've been trying to apply this research into my life, and I wanted to share it with you because maybe you can apply it too, because you know how we do. We look at research and we take what resonates and leave what doesn't, right? So, let's get started with the first study being in Cornell University, done in 2013. This was conducted by Riley and Gabara, and they found that threatening situations can increase creative thinking, likely because the brain searches for new ways to cope. Definitely. Definitely. You know, everything inside of me wants to just stay in bed and be sad, but the reality is the bills don't get paid that way, right? And I'm an entrepreneur, so I have to consistently be working at it. But also, I'm a mental health professional, and I know I'm not the only one feeling all of these things. So I'm seeing a dog. Oh, it's a beautiful dog. Hopefully, you know, you can also apply this into your life, because I definitely have been finding ways to be more creative. It gives me a sense of normalcy where there really isn't much right now. The second study that I wanted to bring to your attention is one that's done by creative art therapists, and it was called Using Creative Art Therapies During War Times, just from 3 years ago, 2023. The findings here suggest that expressive therapy assists trauma survivors with means of self-expression, unity, and empowerment. This is so true, because in a time of so much division, I have seen a lot of people come together, whether it's for shared meanings, whether it's for collective grieving, whether it's supports that people are putting out, such as what I'm trying to do here. Also, the study found that creative arts can be introduced in crisis intervention work to reduce PTSD symptoms and foster resilience. This is definitely something I've noticed with my mental health work with clients. I always ask them to do some mindfulness practices, and sometimes I encourage them to do them outside in nature if they feel safe, or to use art, or to use the means that they have, whether it's decluttering, organizing, creating. Don't discount the impact that it has on your mental health. And this is a direct quote: creativity is within us. It can be oppressed by severe trauma, but never extinguished. I've witnessed how community art projects help build empathy, resilience, and open dialogue. My work is not a form of escapism. I introduce tools to temporarily step outside of the high stress psychological conditions. In doing so, some villagers could bypass fight, flight, freeze responses. Afterward, they're able to frame their experiences with a new outlook towards solutions. Therefore, creative art therapies, in this finding, during wartime particularly, reduce PTSD symptoms, they build resilience, they provide emotional expression, control emotional release, create room for identity preservation, and social connection. Lastly, I want to talk about war and art particularly, and this is Creative Responses to Conflict by Christine Britton. War art is packed with wild emotions, bold colors, and strange ideas. So there's a concept called Dadaism, Dadaism, and it's creating surreal scenes, and it makes people stop and stare. Have you ever seen art that just makes you stop and stare? Yeah. Artists use their work to protest, critique, reflect, and political and social political and social realities of conflict. Those who work with me know my thing here is never perfection. I'm never focused on perfection, but on authenticity. So I hope you got a good little chuckle out of that. War endangers cultural heritage. Restoration efforts cover lost identity and preserve history. And look at this. Healing doesn't always happen in hospitals. Sometimes it starts with art and a blank wall. So, The takeaway message here is use this time and do what fulfills your heart, fulfills your soul. There's a lot of daunting imagery, a lot of sad stories out there, but you can use this and build resilience and just get into a flow state, whether it's writing, coloring, coming outside and just observing nature, decluttering, organizing. There are so many different ways to do it, but that emotion and that energy needs somewhere to go. So I hope this helped you find some ways to release it. I'll see you at the next episode. Bye.